For Micah Parsons, that was the game that I think everyone in Green Bay, the fans, and even maybe the coaches, even if they love Parsons, was expecting and waiting for. It was a signature game in which he disrupted everything the Cardinals were trying to do, and that is the guy who can make this team Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, Micah Parsons was absolutely a game wrecker against the Cardinals on Sunday. He was just unbelievable, and it got to the point where every time he'd come out on the field, because he does sit a lot. He sits, you know what I mean? He takes some rest. Once he gets out there, though, it just seemed like whenever he almost wanted to dial up a pressure, he was just cooking the right tackle and going around him every time. And I mean, Parsons, he just continued to make plays from start to finish in this game. And the Cardinals were moving down the field. Brissett, we've seen him now back-to-back weeks look effective, but every time they really needed it, Parsons made a play, including early in the game. It's tied 3-3. The Cardinals are driving down the field. They get it to the 10-yard line, and you saw a couple of these, but just this one specifically, Parsons just dial it up. First play, pressure, forces a throwaway of Brissett. The next play, a sack on 3rd and goal from the 10 that just ends the entire drive. Just cook the drive. They're done. They got to go, settle for a field goal. Now it's 6-3 as opposed to being possibly 10-3, and it was all Parsons. Later in the game, second half again, ball again on the 10-yard line, and he yet again gets a sack to make a play. I mean, both times inside the 10. Those were his first 2 sacks of the game. And it wasn't just him, by the way. All the Packers were getting pressure. We're going to get to everyone, give them their flowers. But this is just specifically the Micah Parsons, you know what I mean, section of it. And late in the game, the Cardinals are driving down the field, down by 4, 27-23, moving. They get it to around the 30, I believe the 25-yard line. And there's just Parsons waking up, coming back on the field because he was off the field for a little bit as well. Woke up immediately, gets a sack, and that kind of cooked everything the Cardinals could do because they had 30 seconds left and 2 timeouts. But after the sack, now you got 27 seconds left. You're down 1 timeout. Brissett ends up having to run the next play, and all they get up are basically Hail Mary attempts in the back of the end zone, whereas they were formulating, you get closer, you get to like the 15, the 10, now you have a real shot to go out there and win that game. But Parsons was just unbelievable. That is exactly, I think that's what everyone was waiting for. I was hearing stats about Parsons wasn't doing much. They weren't getting a lot of pressure rate comparably, and how that part of the team, even though it's been good, hasn't been like dominant. The defensive line for the Packers completely dominated this game, and they needed to because the offense wasn't great today. I think they did what they needed to do for sure. I don't think they were bad by any stretch, but they were struggling out there. The Cardinals are a solid defense, and they have a defensive coach. So they found some things that worked against the Packers. Josh Jacobs was hurt. That obviously had a big effect as well. He still ran it very well, but he was hurt. And that's what you saw. The biggest play of the game for the Packers defensively was actually Rashawn Gary coming from actually in front of Brissett. Got there quicker than Brissett thought he was going to. Brissett was trying to throw the ball to the left. Looked like he was trying to throw it backwards. Very dangerous. But Gary came in, strip sack, forcing a fumble, recovering it, getting the Packers the ball in plus territory, and they went up there, scored a touchdown. They tried a tush push. Micah wasn't even on the field, but they tried it 4th and 1. Strange decision with like 5 minutes to play, up 3 for the Cardinals. Hated the decision. Even worse, hate the call. If you're going to do that, let Brissett throw the ball, which he was doing. But the Packers ended up stopping that as well, and that was huge to again give their offense another chance in plus territory to go out there and make plays. Quay Walker, they kept sending him in on blitzes. He actually had a sack and a half in this game to go along with Micah's 3 sacks. And as a defensive line, they had 6 sacks. And I just think they were flying out there. They were constantly creating havoc, getting pressure, and they really were doing a great job in controlling the game because the Cardinals offense looked like it was grooving. Still a little concerned with the cornerback play. Nixon made a couple of nice plays, but McBride just does that. He just gets open. Brissett looked very good, but I am concerned about them on the back end. But the Packers D-line in this game specifically made that not be the biggest problem in the world. Jordan Love, I'm going to be honest. This is going to sound weird. This was one of his better games of the season. Even though it didn't look pretty and, you know what I mean, wasn't great. He did what he needed to do. He didn't, at any point, go out there and make the big turnover, make the huge error. He didn't even really risk it with the ball in the air. And I just think that's what they needed him to do specifically today. If he has a turnover, if he throws a pick, then they are going to end up losing this game. Now, I watched the game, and ESPN said he had 2 fumbles. I honestly, promise, don't really remember them. So maybe that's on me. I don't know. But I don't remember him being really that slide with the ball. But maybe I'm just that used to watching Jordan Love now to where I'm used to it. But I didn't see any of those like crucial errors that we've seen from him. And I think he missed some passes, a little inconsistent for sure. On some of the, I think he missed a deep ball and stuff like that. But for the most part, what they need him to do is not turn the ball over and give them a chance. And when it was time, 4th and 2, LaFleur put the ball in his hands, said, "Here you go try to win this game," as opposed to kicking a field goal, which would have tied the game with about, I think there was like 2 minutes left, but that puts you in an untenable situation because then you have to stop the Cardinals. So, with that being the case, they go for it, 4th and 2. Perfect throw to Tucker Kraft, on time, on the money, big first down, and that led to, 3 Josh Jacobs runs and a touchdown. And Jacobs, sick or not, I mean, he's got to get the ball there, and they knew it to get into the end zone. But no turnovers in that game to me is a win for Jordan Love. Now, the first half didn't look good. They were really bad throughout. But even in the first half, where they weren't able to move the ball, he was able to set them up for a long field goal, and that was huge. With a 30-yard pass right before halftime, they needed every point they could get. They needed to not turn the ball over, and they needed Jordan Love to be clutch, and he did all of those things. So kudos to Jordan Love. And when you look at this team now, you know, it's looked a little funky, but I think this is the most, other than the Lions game, other than early in the season, I think this is their first game in a couple where you'd say, all right, this is the team that you're kind of expecting. I know they only won by 4, and it's the Cardinals, but it at least looked like the formula, right? Like Packers, Lions, the formula was get to the quarterback. Overpowering D-line, make some plays. The offense didn't make as many plays down the field in this game, although Tucker Kraft was very good. Dobbs was pretty good as well, and I think that's who Jordan Love missed for the deep bomb. It was Dobbs. But despite all of that, the D-line was there getting pressure, making plays, and causing havoc. That is what they need. That is the whole reason you make the move, and that is what they need if they are trying to, which they are trying to be, a Super Bowl contender. Now, coming up, it continues to get interesting. These are all interesting games. They play the Steelers, then the Panthers, right? Back-to-back weeks. Then the Eagles, and then the Giants. So 4 really interesting games. And this team, I'm still kind of feeling the vibes if they can kind of beat anyone and they can almost lose to anyone. Even though they're 4-1-1, they actually do lead the NFC North right now, and that tie is helping them out because, now they have 1 less loss than the Lions and the Bears, who are right there at 4-2, and they also beat the Lions. It helps and hurts them in a way because now that tiebreaker against the Lions doesn't really matter. Sometimes you kind of want that to matter in these situations, but in this situation, I guess the loss is the tiebreaker. Well, the tie is the tiebreaker because there is no tie with the tie. Anyway, but that's what it looks like right now. I'm interested for sure in what they do going forward. I mean, that Steelers game, that's just, I have no idea what to make. I think they're better. right? Like, same with the Panthers. I think they have a much better chance against the Panthers. I think they're going to force Bryce Young to turn the ball over. The Steelers might play it closer to the vest, but the Steelers have a lot of weaknesses in the back end that the Packers should be able to exploit. So, I mean, with their talent level, right? Like, you think they'd beat a lot of teams, and they are right now 4-1-1. It just feels a little up and down because that's just Jordan Love. He's just a little up and down. But if you can get the D-line to maybe not even be this great, right? Like, being this great, stretch, hard to do any game, let alone on a game in, game out basis. But if you can have spurts of that, a little bit more. They were 13th in the league in sacks with 2.4 heading into the game. More of that. They're number 1 in run defense, and they are 8th in pass defense and 10th in pass defense, 8th in points allowed. They allow 20 a game. That's kind of what you want, especially the run defense. Their run defense being that good is pretty wild. So for the Packers, I mean, can't say you're not interested. Jordan Love, steady this game. But going forward, you want some more maybe on the offensive end. Josh Jacobs wasn't out. He wasn't in for most of the game running the ball. They had Wilson trying to just give him a breather because he came down, I believe, with the flu throughout the week. So interested for the Packers and what they do going forward for sure. And, I mean, look, you got to say, NFL just feels wide open right now. And this team, if they can just be a little more consistent, are absolutely, they haven't left yet, being Super Bowl contenders. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch some of the other videos on the site. I've created a playlist with each and every football team, and every week we will be going over those games. I'm really loving this, enjoying it, and hoping you guys are as well. Of course, like, subscribe, and if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for Lumia Sports Productions is looking for sponsors. Shout us out. We will shout you out during the video. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy.